Okay, pre-calculus, I am going to review your Unit 2, Lesson 1 and 2 Mastery Check. 3 problems. So number 1, we're supposed to match the expression to the exact value. So I'm going to go through these slowly. If you missed these, you probably didn't, because these are take-home tests. But if you're thinking about 5 pi over 6, well, let's first think, where is that? 5 pi over 6. Well, this is pi, so that's 6 pi over 6. So 5 pi over 6 is about right there, right? So we know this distance is, if you're thinking in terms of sixths, well, let's just back up a little bit. If you draw your triangle right here, and we're asked to find the sine of 5 pi over 6, we know it's a short angle, and sine is y, so it's the short distance. And we know that this ordered pair has a longer x-coordinate when we do the x-coordinate comma y-coordinate. So the x-coordinate has to be negative because we're going to the left, and the y-coordinate has to be the shorter one. So the sine, and it's positive because it's going up. So sine of 5 pi over 6 is positive 1/2. So where's the 1/2? Right there. Now cosine of pi over 4. Well, now we're counting in fourths. So let me pause here. Okay, counting in fourths, this is 4 pi over 4. And we are, what are we doing, pi over 4? That's just 1 pi over 4. So we know that ordered pair is both positive and positive for the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate because we're going to the right, which is positive, and we're going up, which is also positive. So that's root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. So the cosine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2, positive. Moving on to sine of pi over 4. Sorry, did I say sine? I meant sine of 5 pi over 4, right? So dealing in fourths, this is 4 pi over 4, which makes 5 pi over 4 right here. So now we are going left. So our x is negative, and so is our y. And we're trying to find the sine. The sine is our y value, so we know it's going to be negative, and it's one of the middle angles, so we know it's root 2 over 2. But since it's the sine and it's in the third quadrant, so it's going down, it's going to be negative. So that's a negative root 2 over 2, which makes the last one have to be negative 1/2, but let's go ahead and check it. Okay, cosine of 4 pi over 3. Now we're dealing in thirds. So over here, pi is equal to 3 pi over 3, right? So we're dealing with tall angles. 1 pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3. That's a tall angle. So that means if we're trying to find the cosine is the x value of our triangle, which is going to be negative, and it's the shorter distance, right? This distance is shorter than the y distance for the tall triangles. So that's going to be negative 1/2. All right, moving on to problem number 2. Give the reference angle for 11 pi over 6. Well, we know that reference angles, if we're looking at the answers here, they're in terms of radians. They've got to be between 0 and pi over 2. So where is 11 pi over 6? Well, 12 pi over 6 is all the way around, right? 2 pi? Because here's 6 pi over 6, right? 6 pi over 6, and then all the way around is 12 pi over 6. Well, they said 11 pi over 6. So where is 11 pi over 6? It is right here. So that is essentially, if you were going negative, same as negative pi over 6, right? And however, they're asking for a reference angle. Reference angles are always positive. Basically, it's the distance. How far are we from the x-axis? And we are pi over 6. Number 2. What is the exact value of the tangent of 4 pi over 3? 4 pi over 3, where is that? Well, here's 3 pi over 3. Here's 4 pi over 3. So it's a middle angle. The middle angle has the x and the y the same, except for the signs are opposite, right? So the x is negative, and so is, or sorry, the signs are the same, right? We're in the third quadrant. So the x is negative, and so is the y. So here, this is, wait, I think I'm going to have to back up. I'm doing this wrong, aren't I? So if we were in class, someone would have stopped me and been like, Ms. Elving. Okay, 3 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3. Boom, right? Tall angle. So our x and our y are still negative, but our x is definitely shorter than our y. So if I'm looking at an ordered pair here, x is negative 1/2, this is right. And our y is negative root 3 over 2. Now if we're asked to find the tangent is the same as the sine over the cosine, right? And so, use x, sine of x over cosine of x. This is something that you need to have memorized from the first quadrant. If you can remember that the tangent of pi over 3 is root 3. And that's what I've just asked you guys to do. Just memorize it. Because if you don't, you're going to have to do sine over cosine. So this is y over x. So here's your y. So here's y over your x. Okay, keep, change, flip. That's going to be, the negatives are just going to cancel. So we're going to have root 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. Keep, change, flip. We're going to get root 3. I don't want to do this every single time I get a tangent problem. So memorize the tangent of pi over 3 is root 3. The tangent of pi over 6 is root 3 over 3. And then apply it to whatever quadrant you're in. We know in this quadrant, quadrant 3, the sine and the cosine have the same signs. They're both negative. So when I put a negative or over a negative, if the signs are the same for sine and cosine, whether they be both negative or both positive, the tangent is going to be positive. You don't have to have that memorized. You've got to have it memorized just in the first quadrant and then apply the sign to whatever quadrant you're in. And so that's positive root 3. And that's all. Peace out.